We're going to call this regular meeting in the Chavano Park City Council to order. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Pete Miller, and Conrad will lead us in the invocation. If you'd all please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for the rain. Let's give thanks for having what we have, and help us to think about those that maybe don't have the family or friends to give thanks with, and send them some love. Help us to make good decisions up here. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. There being no citizens to be heard, brings us to item number 4, City Council comments. Lee.
We've got a good crowd tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for being here, whatever the cause or reason. I, too, am very appreciative of the rain. I discovered I do have a lawn out there, and still mostly brown and dirt, but some green is showing through. And I hope everybody has a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Pete?
Yeah, I'd also like to welcome everybody and highlight the fact that coming up on December the 6th at 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we have the holiday event coming up. So just remind everybody of that. And I know all the kids are excited and anticipating the snow that we're going to have in Chavano Park. So that's always a fun event. And then I'd also like to put in a plug for the Chavano Park women. So the Chavano Park women have a poinsettia sale every year. And they're actually down to their last 3 poinsettias to sell. So
Two. Down to two.
They've done last two.
Two.
Okay, last two.
It's
I'm
early,
corrected on
early,
that.
folks. Okay.
So anyway, it's been a really successful sale this year, and it goes to contribute to the fund that they do a lot of good things for Chavano Park. So
Thank you, Pete. Conrad?
Good to see everyone, and happy Thanksgiving.
Maggie?
Thank everyone for coming, and those who will be watching. I think we have the old and the new here this evening. I'll be the old. It's okay. But everyone have a wonderful holiday, and don't forget our Saturday on December 6th. It's going to be a fabulous event for our neighbors and for Chavano Park, and I understand the Grinch will be making an appearance. So nobody wants to miss that. So thank you.
Buddy?
Welcome, everyone, and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you, buddy. Brings us to item number 5, presentation, commentations, and announcements. It is with honor that, as a council, we are in a position to recognize the selfless service of a public servant who has passed in Chavano Park. Judge Gary Remy has passed. He served us with distinction for 4 years. We're very honored to have had him. Gary is the guy that was at St. Mary's, distinguished himself there, has educated hundreds and hundreds of Texas attorneys across Texas, and particularly here in the San Antonio area, St. Mary's Law School graduates. And we are all richer for his experiences. The proclamation reads, whereas it has been learned that the Honorable Gerald S. Remy has departed this life, and whereas we are here to pay honor and celebrate the dedicated selfless service by Judge Remy to the citizens of Chavano Park, Texas, and whereas Judge Remy faithfully served the city of Chavano Park as a volunteer in the Citizens Tree Committee from 2014 to 2020, and most recently as the city's municipal judge 2021 to 2025, and whereas Judge Remy was a selfless servant and mentor who impartially and ethically served all with dignity and respect. Now, therefore, I, Robert B. Warner, Mayor of the City of Chavano Park, do hereby proclaim November 24th, 2025 as Judge Gerald S. Remy Day. And I do this on behalf of the council and all the citizens. Kay, would you come on down with that beautiful grandbaby and we'll get a picture? And if your lovely daughter and son-in-law
Bring 'em
want
on
to join us
down.
as well, please. pleased that we were able to name him as our first municipal judge for the city of Chaminade Park. And he's the first judge that served in the city of Chaminade Park as a court of record for the city of Chaminade Park. So that is wonderful. So good to be with you, and good to be with you today. Oh, I know that you've got things that you'd like to tell all of us. But the next time that you come, you can tell us all those important things. Thank you all very much. Okay, the next proclamation that we have is Holiday Cheer Santa and the Grinch. And not to hold out Lee Powers as the Grinch, because he's never been a Grinch for us, but I'm going to call him forward after we talk about this for a couple of minutes to receive on behalf of the city the proclamation on behalf of Santa Claus, because he's a personal friend of Santa Claus. Maggie, I understand we're going to have snow. How did we schedule that? You know, Pete was saying that it's going to snow in Chavano Park.
Only
It's
a
South
portion.
Texas.
Why not?
Why not? And a question, is the good Grinch or the bad Grinch going to show up this year?
I guess we better find out.
Oh.
We'll know. Better,
We'll find out sooner than later, but
That's
but we will have police officers there just in case we need that. Now, I do want to remind everybody that we do have a rule in Chavano Park. Grandfathers and fathers are open season to receive the throwing of snowballs, and they will throw back at children and grandchildren as well. But you cannot throw at mothers and grandmothers without specific permission. I think there's a city ordinance. Pete, is there a city ordinance on that?
I don't know if there is, but there should be, Bob.
There should be an ordinance on that. So Lee, if you would come forward and let us get a picture. Lee, as a close personal friend of Santa Claus, it is my honor to deliver this proclamation to you so that you can get it to the jolly old elf. And you will appreciate it, sir, very much. All right, thank you so much. And then the final item is recognition, excellence in performance by Patrol Officer Marcela Espinoza.
Marcella.
Marcella.
Espinoza. Good evening, council. I'm going to kind of get a twofer in here since we have Officer Espinoza with us tonight. Officer Marcella Espinoza has been nominated for the Employee Commitment to Excellence Award for this quarter based on two of her recent achievements. In October, Officer Espinoza was nominated for and recognized by Mothers Against Drunk Drivers as conducting the most DWI-related arrests within the Chavano Park Police Department for the calendar year 2024. More recently, Officer Espinoza was recognized by her peers and training cadre when she received the Commander's Award of Excellence from the lead instructor during her attendance at the National Honor Guard Academy just a few weeks ago. Along with tonight's Commitment to Excellence Award, Officer Espinoza is also going to be awarded the Police Department's Certificate of Merit Award for her accolades. Her continued contributions to the Chavano Park Police Department proudly reflect the attributes of our core values.
Thank you.
Come on up here. Chief, you can join me up here. We have a coin here that is a coin reflective of this great occasion, and it's titled Commitment to Excellence. And so we have, for a number of years, recognized one employee per quarter every 3 months for for a number of different things. Their teamwork, their value, integrity, competence, and all-around commitment to excellence. And so, you know, in front of us, we have not only a great ambassador for the Chavano Park
Are we going to give her an opportunity for rebuttal?
Here, let me put it down here.
I just want to thank everybody for nominating me for this award, and I want to thank my chief for always being behind me and always supporting me in everything I do.
Thank you much. Good
Thank
to
you.
be with you, Sue. Item number 6, consent agenda. All matters listed under this item are considered routine by the city and council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired by any alderman on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately at the end of the regular agenda. Do we have a motion to approve and/or accept items 6.1 through 6.7?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item 6.2, which is the Planning Zoning Commission minutes. I'd like to have a discussion about those minutes, especially as it pertains to the hike and bike trail. So again, I'd like the city manager to give
Okay.
us a briefing of that.
So do we have a motion to approve and/or accept items 6.1, 6.3 through 6.7? We
So
have a
moved.
motion from Lee, a second from Maggie. There being no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. 6.2 is moved to the end of the regular agenda. Item number 7, city manager's report. All matters listed under this item are considered routine by the city council and will only be considered at the request of one or more aldermen. Coincident with each listed item, discussion will generally occur at the end of the regular agenda. Does anybody have a request to pull any of 7.1 through 7.6? There being no request, it brings us to item number 8, regular agenda items. Item 8.1, discussion action ordinance O 2025-017, amending chapter 14, article 5, renaming and combining the Citizens Tree Committee and Beautification Committees into a single advisory body henceforth named the Chavano Park Tree and Beautification Committee, and amending committee responsibilities. This is an administrative ordinance and will be enacted and effective on adoption. Bill?
So, City Council, just to remind you, in September, City Council formally approved a motion that combined the Citizens Tree Committee with the Chavano Park Beautification Committee into a single advisory body. And then they directed staff to revise the tree ordinance to reflect those changes. So, staff, in cooperation with the new Tree and Beautification Committee, proposed some changes. We worked that with the chairman and the vice chairman offline. We presented to the committee, and on November 17th, the Tree and the Beautification Committee approved a recommendation for the changes in those ordinances. And the primary changes are really a restated purpose statement, and I won't read the whole thing, but it serves to promote health, beauty, and civic pride of the city by advising urban forestry practices and public landscaping initiatives. And it talks about protecting the value of Chavano Park, et cetera. It came right out of Alderman Miller's proposed purpose statement. Obviously, we changed the name of the committee. We emphasized that it's an advisory board only. We reduced some of the conflicting tasks that may have been given to the tree committee before, and we simplified that. And so, again, we're still focused in on issues such as oak wilt detection, tree trimming, sustainable tree care, and specifically public care of trees, or the care of public trees. And in here, we added a task to perform other duties and functions within the purpose of this article requested by the majority vote of City Council. So it's a fairly simple ordinance change. It still nests with all the things we're doing. It doesn't change the public tree care portion of that, but it clarifies.
Thank you very much, Bill. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance O 2025-017, amending chapter 14, article 5, renaming and combining the Citizens Tree Committee and the Beautification Committee into a single advisory body, henceforth named the Chavano Park Tree and Beautification Committee and amending committee responsibilities. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion from Pete. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Buddy. We're now open for discussion. There being no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. Item 8.2, discussion action ordinance O 2025-018, amending Chapter 22, Article 2, Emergency Management to adopt the October 10th, 2017 National Incident Management System, NIMS, and the exempt liability of any property owner who voluntarily assists the city with using of the premises of the sheltering persons during an emergency. This is administrative ordinance as well and will be enacted by at one reading. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're very fortunate to have Ray Cruz from the Bexar County Office of Emergency Management joining us this evening. He's basically our subject matter expert and our liaison that assists all of the small cities that have partnered with Bexar County for emergency management. As most of you are aware, a year or two ago, we entered an interlocal agreement with Bexar County to assist us with emergency management. If we encounter an event that's a large-scale event that's something that we can't handle, they will come in and assist us, and it just creates for a smooth flow between the state and on the federal levels as well. So, for lack of better words, this is kind of more or less a kind of a housekeeping type update. And it's just making sure that we're current and up on all the current federal regulations as well. NIMS is the National Emergency Management System. It's something that we use every day on the smallest scale incident to the largest scale incident, and it's just an acronym for the basically our incident management system. So it just says that we're going to use these and continue to use these on all our incidents. And the other item to this is something new that came from the county, and I'll let Ray speak on that as far as if someone uses their facility, their home, or things like that for shelter.
Thank you. Ray?
Yes. Mr. Mayor and the rest of the council, thank you for having me. I know that we were looking at section 22-4 for the liability in y'all's packet, and it's in red, and that's the thing that's changing. That's what changed also in the 2017 update of the National Incident Management System that FEMA updated. So that's what, and I'm going to read it just to have it on record really quickly. Any person owning or controlling real estate or other premise who voluntarily and without compensation grants to the city of Chavano Park, Texas, a license or privilege, or otherwise permits the city to inspect, designate, and use the whole or any part or parts of such real estate or premise for the purpose of sheltering persons during an actual, impending, or practiced enemy attack or natural or man-made disaster, shall, together with his successors in interest, if any, not be civilly liable for the death of or injury to any person on or about such real estate or premise under such license, privilege, or other permission for loss of or damage to the property of such person. So, with that, that was the update for the liability. That's kind of saying for in the instance, I'll give a quick example. If we were to utilize this city hall as an example for a shelter, and something were to occur to one of the residents here, that's where it would also apply as well. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions for me?
Very good. Does anyone have any questions for Ray? Pete?
So, Ray, within, besides San Antonio, I think in the Bexar County, we have, 13 different cities, small cities.
26.
What's that?
26.
26,
Yeah.
26 small cities. So within that I guess all of these will be solicited to sign a similar type of agreement?
As well, yes. Some of them will be updated as well, because some have already been updated to the 2017, but we're just trying to finish off with updating the rest of the municipalities here that are under our plan.
Okay. And how many have already signed off, do you?
It was, I'd say about the ones, so the only four that have their own plans is gonna be Windcrest, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, and Almost Park, yes. Those are, but they might be
They may-
changing.
yes.
Yeah, they may be coming over. Anyway, but those are the ones that have their own plans and do their own thing. Everywhere else, for the rest of them, have signed with our plan and have this already implemented as well.
Okay, thank you, Ray.
Yes.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance O 2025-018, amending Chapter 22, Article 2, Emergency Management to adopt the October 10th, 2017 National Incident Management System, NIMS, and exempt liability of any property owner who voluntarily assists the city with using of the premises for sheltering persons during an emergency. Do we have a motion? We have a motion from Lee. Do we have a
Second.
second? Pete is seconding the motion. Is there any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. I'm going to execute this ordinance at this time. Okay, brings us to item 8.3, discussion action, resolution R 2025-017, a joint resolution with Bear County stating that the mayor of the city of Chavano Park and the Bear County judge shall mutually appoint an emergency management coordinator to coordinate all aspects of the Chavano Park Bear County program of comprehensive emergency management, including the preparation and maintenance of an interjurisdictional emergency management plan for the city of Chavano Park and Bear County. Bill, Chief?
Again, this is more or less general housekeeping, for lack of better words. In being in this interlocal agreement with Bear County, the city of Chavano Park will continue to handle all incidents that we are capable of handling. However, if it's a large-scale incident, a catastrophe, natural weather event, something beyond our control, this will allow Bear County to come in and assist us and create a seamless transition in requesting that help on the state level as well as the federal level. Again, Ray's is here to speak more on that if need be and can certainly answer questions.
Okay. Bill, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
No, I think we're good.
Ray, anything that you'd like to add?
It's just really quickly, I'm sorry, I'll be very,
Yes, sir.
very brief. Back, for you, Mr. Mayor, back in 2023, you had signed the TDM 147, having Chavano Park underneath our emergency management plan. This is the resolution that is needed from each municipality to make sure that that did happen. That's what that's for.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution R 2025-017, a joint resolution with Bear County stating that the mayor of the city of Chavano Park and Bear County judge shall mutually appoint an emergency management coordinator to coordinate all aspects of the city of Chavano Park Bear County program of comprehensive emergency management, including the preparation and maintenance of an interjurisdictional emergency management plan for the city of Chavano Park and Bear County. Do we have a motion?
So move.
We have a motion from Maggie. We have a second from Conrad. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'm going to execute the resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. And thank you, Rays, for being here and joining us, taking time out of your evening.
Kristen, if you want to take these, make copies for Bear County and countersign my,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council.
thank you very much, Ray.
Thank you.
Good to be with you this evening. Item 8.4, discussion action, city manager to review department efficiency and develop a cost organization plan that can be used during, before and during our budgeting process. This is brought by Buddy Alleman and Conrad Kirkendall. Which one of you is going to speak first? Conrad.
So we convened with Bill and Kristen and really wanted to set a path forward for a bit of our budgeting process, but also basically to score up our budget and where the money's spent. As we discussed in our meeting, it's not really about counting paper clips. It's about an overall top-down approach and looking for maybe inefficiencies that might be there, be it computer system utilization or non-utilization and all that, and really start from the top and look down at it. part of the idea is that when we do get in the budgeting process, we're not looking at, you know, well, $1,300 or $300 item, we can certainly discuss that, but it's really just a top-down look at what's going on. And part of my hope is we go through this, that we have, let's say, a 3-page document that really looks at the city, and you can look at it really quickly and have a scoring mechanism that says, oh, we're doing really good, or maybe we could do better in some other areas. And so that's the general idea going forward, be it, you can look at dollars, but also you want to look at efficiencies. That could be overlap of responsibilities for positions that we have, all of it, really. And the hope is also that this budgeting process happens quicker. But again, it's not about counting paper clips or anything like that. It's going to be tough to probably look at this, because I think we do a good job. I think we scrutinize our budget all the way down to the paper clips, quite frankly. So it's not really about that part. It is really about a top-down look, and let's just see what we can find. And we'd like to engage in regular, let's say monthly type of thing for the next few months. Buddy, you got anything?
Buddy?
Yeah, this is it's a lot with Conrad hit on a lot of topics, optimization, utilization of personnel, and trying to educate or be prepared to, and just in case, with the escalating premiums, with insurance, escalating costs across the board, if there's a need to raise additional funds, if necessary, we want to be prepared, not working within the 2-month period that we go over the budget, but a year-long process to make sure that we have optimization, like Conrad says, utilization of the needs or the wants that we have within the department, to whereas if we're prepared that if we need additional funds, that we've uncovered every nook and cranny and say, okay, we've done our due diligence, this is about how we're going to do it, why we're going to do it, and we've optimized our efficiencies within the departments. And we're not saying, like Conrad said, the city does a damn good job of covering all the costs and making sure that we spend the money in the right places. It's just a matter of how can we utilize the people that we have. And not only that, are we using technology appropriately? And if we need to make an investment on new items, so be it. Let's do it.
Okay, thank you, buddy. Do y'all have a motion?
Well, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to convene this, I guess it would be Buddy and I, right? And I'd like to have Buddy Alleman and myself engage over the next six months.
Yeah.
6 months with Bill Hill and whoever he deems necessary to go through our budget, as it says, for efficiency.
Okay. We have a motion from Conrad for Buddy and Conrad to work with Bill over the next 6 months to review department efficiency and develop a cost optimization plan. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, to include, but not limited to, scoring and job descriptions.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion from Conrad, a second from Maggie. We're now open for discussion. Pete?
Yeah, so one of the things I'd like to say is Buddy and I went through the compensation committee. It was real obvious that we needed to kind of go through this exercise. And this is not just for, the next year. This is for kind of the foreseeable future, that we want to make sure that we have a solid foundation on which to build for the future. But I would like to make a motion to amend your motion. And the amendment would be, so I'm supportive of your first part that you had, but I would like to add a second part that says, as part of this review, a comprehensive financial assessment shall be conducted to establish specific target reductions in the city's budget to be reviewed by City Council at the February 2026 City Council meeting, which shall be designed to maintain a healthy financial position while ensuring that performance standards and service deliveries are not compromised. And let me kind of tell you a little bit about the reasoning behind that. As we kind of go through this process, I think there needs to be some study done to figure, are we talking about $50,000? Are we talking $250,000? I don't know. And I don't know what the right answer is, but somebody needs to be looking kind of forward to be able to make that assessment. And I'd like to understand a little bit more from that perspective of what we're talking about. So that would be my motion to adjust the motion.
Okay. I'm going to turn that back, before I entertain a second, back to Conrad and Buddy as far as what they're trying to do, and is that consistent with what you're looking for, and is that an amplification of your motion? And would you consider that a friendly amendment, or do we need to to consider it separately?
Well, I mean, the issue, and it's not an issue, well, I understand what Pete is asking for, but at the same time, I'm also looking at February. Brenda's starting the audit, the financial audit. We have a budget in place already. So, I mean, we're going to operate within the constraints of the budget that we've already set forward. This is more of a planning purpose to see what we can save, if anything.
Yeah. So is March a date that you would consider?
I would consider March or April.
March or April, Pete?
I'm good.
Actually, I'd go to April, because I would ask for April.
Okay.
The idea is we don't want to put undue time burdens here. We're trying to just layer
Okay,
this in
okay.
and get it.
Yeah, I'm good with that. It's the ability to understand where we are and to know what our targets would be. So
Right,
I'm good.
I mean,
I'm good. I actually agree with that we don't want to put undue burden on a time when we've got a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, and
That's
we're going to be
fair.
meeting
That's
with
fair.
Bill, every other month or every other week, or, whatever needs necessary, and we plan on giving updates to the council as we go along.
Whatever works with Bill's schedule.
Okay,
Brenda's.
uh, where I think that we are is, and I'm going to ask if you would amend your motion and whether Maggie would amend her second to include it, that Buddy and Conrad will work with the city manager over the next 6 months to review departmental efficiencies, develop a cost optimization plan to be used before and during our budgetary process. As part of this review, a comprehensive financial assessment shall be conducted to establish specific target reductions in the city's budget to be reviewed by the city council at the April 2026 council meeting, which shall be designated to maintain a healthy financial position while ensuring that the performance standards and service delivery are not compromised. Okay? Do you accept that? Okay,
Accept that,
so,
yes.
so Conrad that is his new motion. Maggie, do you accept the amendment? Okay. So that is the primary motion now. And we do not have an amendment that's on the floor. We have a primary motion. That primary motion as amended is now open for discussion further. Do we have any further discussion? Lee?
I've heard the verbiage before on this type of program. Is there an existing boilerplate? Is there a name for this type of process? Somebody must have done it before us.
I'll have to get back with you on that.
I mean,
Here's my problem with, I don't know if we're going to match up with anybody. So standardization, you would look at that. Benchmarking might be another term. We're going to have trouble benchmarking against other cities because we do a good job. I think looking at the processes within this is so we will be looking at benchmarking. Maybe you just throw that in there, but it's going to be hard to compare.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to figure out a little different.
Well, I understand comparing with other cities is pretty difficult with us, but I believe we can look at prior performance of our own city and what we expect to happen over the next 2 years. We can forecast, look at trends and indices on this. We know we can put a bell curve on insurance premiums. We can attempt, it'll be more like a F-16 taking off. But is there, to your mind, a place where we can look for a structure how to do this, or are we
This is-
spitballing this?
This is about defining the structure and coming out with, the whole process is then speaking to what you're asking for.
Okay.
Does that help?
Well, yeah, it knocks the edges off, but we'll have to see how it turns out. I'm looking forward to it. I think
Yeah.
it's much needed.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Do we have any other further discussion?
No,
Maggie?
I don't know, I think
If
it's,
you could use your microphone a little bit closer. Thank you.
closer? Okay. I think it's a really good move. Sometimes you get into to the ilk of just doing things over and over like you've always have done. And times change. And this is a way to make everyone stop and think, do we look at our staffing? Do we look at the way we budget? Is there anything differently that we need to do? And this is just you know, like Lee's looking for a master plan. I mean, that is it. It's what you make of it. You make your own master plan, but make sure that you do look at all of the areas. You just don't rubber stamp it and keep going on the same way. So I think it's good. It's going to be an excellent thing for the council to do. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Maggie. Any other further comments?
Just one more. This is, just to emphasize, it's not a criticism of anything. This is about finding definitions and being more efficient, because we feel like everybody does a fantastic job up here, and it's really important to understand that.
Okay, there being no further discussion, we have a motion as amended by Conrad and Maggie that is before us. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. Item 8.5, discussion action update on the City of Chavano Park 1604 Public Improvement District PID and authorization for the city manager to negotiate and enter into a contract for PID administration services on behalf of the city. Bill, are you going to speak, or Curtis?
I am.
Okay.
So, in 2024 September, actually, you approved the creation of the Public Improvement District. We also approved a public service agreement with the Rogers Chavano Park Unit 1819 to compensate the city for all costs associated with the creation of the PID. Reminder, it's 22 acres along 1604, estimated to be about $6 million in public infrastructure investment. The city will issue a bond, and then that will be backed up by the value of the land of the 22 acres. And as it gets developed, the property owners will pay the interest and the principal payments for the bond, and they will be designated an additional tax on top of their current taxes to be able to do that. One of the things that's required to do is the city to select and come into agreement for a PID administrator. And the PID is the city. The Public Infrastructure District is the city. The city hires an administrator, and obviously we work cooperatively with the property owners to estimate the cost, figure out what it is, go out for a bond, and then develop the mechanisms for paying that bond back. And the PID administrator does a lot of the administrative stuff. Most of the information comes from the actual developer through engineer plans and cost estimates. There's some mechanisms for doing this. You have to issue a bond. Unlike when we issued a public bond where you had hundreds of firms that do that, there's only a handful that do PIDs. And so it's fairly simple. Just like that, there's only 2 firms in Texas primarily that actually administer PIDs. There may be more than 2, but there's 2 primary. One, which was administered, has done the majority of the PIDs in Texas. Another one that's 15 years old that's done a lot of them, but not as many. We recently had a meeting with Bitterblue, and they talked about a timeline for the actual development of the necessary requirements for this, and then starting construction in the first quarter calendar year of 2026 or the second. And on their schedule, they had an actual, what's called a service and assessment plan, which is the primary document that is the framework for the financing and the administration of this. And they had a timeline of a draft to be considered by City Council in January with the final approval in February. After that meeting, we had a meeting, Curtis and I did. I think Brenda was there with with our bond attorneys who are representing us along with our financial advisors from Frost. And they advised us, well, if you're going to meet that, it's very challenging. The PID administrators are very, they've got a lot of irons in the fire. You've got to jump on this very rapidly. So we didn't think we could put this on the agenda, but since there's only 2 PID administrators to consider, we were able to get a Zoom meeting with them scheduled. We were able to very adequately get them to describe what their capabilities are. They sent us statements of qualifications. We've received those, and we're in the process of working through all that. So both firms come to us highly recommended for the most part because they're very good at what they do. Again, like we have received the qualifications and done that. One's called P3 Works and one's called MuniCap Incorporated. MuniCap is the big elephant that does most of them across the city, the state, and these are specific to states. P3 Works is up and coming. P3 Works is actually working with Bitter Blue in Seguin, and MuniCap has done one project in Kerrville. But we like the fact that P3 Works was very receptive, responsive. They've got a regional director that's a prior city manager, so they have a different approach. They have an approach that represents cities from cities. And since they're already working with Bitter Blue, that's a bonus. Plus, I've worked with the city manager, now the regional director from P3. So we're leaning towards P3, but we're not prepared to make that specific recommendations now. We're providing, we're asking to authorize the city manager to negotiate, enter into a contract for the PID administrative services with either P3 Works or MuniCap, and we intend to further flesh this out with Bitter Blue before making final decision. But again, there is a rate, it's a standard rate, just like engineers and attorneys, they charge per hour. And we're not a very, this is not a huge PID. It's 22 acres. It's fairly simple. As you know, they are going to build the town homes first. They want to do that in 2026, get started so that they can sell them beginning in 2027. They've got to put the roads and the infrastructure, the water, the sewer, electricity in. And so Bitter Blue intends to enter into contracts with those construction workers who are going to put the services in. They'll have a better estimate of that. And so what's really occurred is that this requirement for a January, February has slipped 2 or 3 months. It's not as urgent as it was when we put this on the agenda. We just found this out over the weekend. But we still want to go ahead and close the loop, work with Bitter Blue. We have a meeting with Bitter Blue Tuesday on a different project, but we're going to talk this. And then this will allow us some flexibility to negotiate with both the firms and make sure we get the best representation possible.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to negotiate and enter into a contract for PID administrative services with either P3 Works LLC or MuniCap Inc. on behalf of the city of Chavano Park. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion from Pete. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Conrad. We're now open for discussion.
One question.
Conrad?
Any issues with working with that company that also works with Bitter Blue? Conflicts?
They're working
Legal
in
stuff.
Seguin. They work for Seguin as the PID administrator in a development project that Bitter Blue's doing there. So they don't work for Bitter Blue. They work for the city of Seguin. It'll be the same thing. They will work for us, but they're, in conjunction and cooperation with the developer, And in fact, the developer and his engineer provides 90% of the information associated with this, and they work the timing of when it happens, when the loan's taken out, so that they can pay back the infrastructure cost. They're going to do the majority of the infrastructure cost before and during this, before the bond is out, so they have a more precise value that they need to actually take out.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. This brings us back to item 6.2, accept Planning and Zoning Commission minutes, August 6, 2025. Pete was asking for a discussion specifically related to the trail extension at the corner of, at the dog leg on Cliffside. Pete, do you want to help focus that a little bit for Bill so that he can discuss the portions of the minutes that you're interested in?
Yeah, it had to do with agenda item number 9, which was the Cliffside Drive, Chavano Creek Parkway Hike and Bike Trail pilot. But specifically wanted to know the discussion that happened, how the team is moving forward, and I believe, based on the minutes, that they set up a subcommittee. So to understand a little bit more about the 4-person trail subcommittee.
So you're correct. City Council requested the Planning and Zoning Commission conduct a comprehensive review of the Cliffside Drive to Salado Creek Parkway hike and bike entry point. I provided a presentation to the P&Z, which is very, very similar, almost mirrored the town hall that occurred. And then I provided background information on what you wanted to do, actually provided Pete Miller's slides to them so that they understood what your intent associated with what that was. So we held discussions about the possible ways ahead, and there was a recommendation that we form a 4-person subcommittee of the P&Z. We worked all that in advance with the chairman and the vice chairman. Of course, the chairman did not choose to continue on as the chairman or the vice chairman, so there was a new chairman elected who was the vice chairman, and then a new vice chair. But there was a motion, and it was approved. The subcommittee consists of Chairman Kyle Horland, Commissioners Insel, Thorpe, and Taylor. Now, Thorpe lives on Cliffside, Taylor lives on Bent Oak, and Insel lives in the estates. So you got a good mix associated with that. And there was, that motion carried unanimously. And then there was a second motion by Commissioner Bill Thorpe to task the subcommittee to work with city staff to form a citizens advisory panel. That motion carried unanimously. So staff drafted a application. We sent that to the commission, the chairman and the vice chairman. There was some amendments to that that were positive. We distributed that through all our social media websites and direct emails. I personally sent emails to the folks that were most vocal in terms of the MPO project, so that I would ensure that they physically receive that. And I think initially we got 14, 15 applications. There was further engagement by the staff, specifically targeting some of the ones that were most vocal that had not applied. And we, frankly, we suggested that they reconsider and that they apply. All told, we have 19 applicants. And that application period ended last night. So all those applications have been sent to the Planning and Zoning meeting. We have a meeting next Tuesday. To summarize the spread, there was, out of the 19, there was one applicant that was strongly opposed. Because, to clarify, we gave them 5 categories to kind of categorize themselves. Strongly oppose, oppose, neutral, support, strongly support. There was one strongly opposed. There were 0 opposed. There was 1 neutral. I don't know the exact number, but there was about a third that were supportive and the rest strongly supported. So basically, 17 of the 19 supported improvements to the connection, many of them strongly supportive. You can read between the lines. Obviously, the ones that support and strongly support are really going to fall into 2 categories: those that support a full-blown trail access that is ADA compliant as much as possible. The other one is a access that is improved significantly, but all natural. So that's kind of where that's going to lay, and obviously we have someone that doesn't support that. I've been in working with the city attorney. We have a new city attorney. He's not here tonight, but he's a very experienced attorney. I met with him, and he's introduced him to the staff. And we have previously sent to our city law firm the question as to whether we can control the access of that and how we can control it. We know that we can control the access. We don't know exactly what the parameters are. I'm going to package that up. It's on my list of things to do. Might get to it by February. But we'll send that to the attorney and then have him opine as to whether or not how access can be controlled, how we register, whether it can be controlled just within the residents and citizens of Chevato Park, whether we have to expand that. If we expand it, what are some of the considerations? So it's coming quite along very well. I anticipate there'll be a recommendation for between 4 to 6 panel members. They're not going to be board members because they're not part of a board. They're an advisory panel, and they will probably draft up a questionnaire. We'll give them the questionnaire, have them fill out the questionnaire. It might say, do you initially support this, yes or no? What, 10 foot, 8 foot, 6 foot? These are all preliminary things. Control access, yes or no? Improvement, surface, not improved. Something to do with signage and advertisements, and then we'll see where they are. We'll ask them general questions as to what are your concerns, or what do you feel strongly about. We'll lay all that at the table, try to organize that, and then try to then go back and confirm or deny and provide advantages and disadvantages and so forth.
Okay. I'm going to turn back to you, Pete. Did that address the issues that you were thinking of? Are there any things that you'd like to amplify on what Bill just said?
No, that actually gave me a pretty clear view of where you're heading and how you're going. The only question I've got is, I was really impressed that we've got 19 people that applied. That's quite impressive. My question has to do with, you said probably 4 to 6 to having on the committee. I know there's advantages to having a smaller committee versus having a larger one, but there are some advantages to having a large one. So I know you got to weigh that. But with that many people interested, I would think that we'd want to have a larger head towards a 6.
Well, I will talk to the committee. I'm not convinced a larger is better. What we want is we want quality input. We have a plan to do a town hall. So the idea is we're going to have this area surveyed. There will be a boundary survey. We'll mark the trail. We'll then have the survey go down the proposed options for the trail, and then working with the panel to provide feedback to the subcommittee. It's really going to be a 4-person subcommittee that develops the options and the details. That will all then be pushed out to the greater public, and then we intend to have all that transparent and communicative, and then provide a public input session to them so that they can provide feedback before. Then we would have a town hall meeting where people can come and then articulate that, sign up, and do all that. And we may have, it may be that you need to do 2 of them. So there's no issue with that. I think there's going to be lots of opportunity for public input. Part of what we thought about is we could find 3 opposed and 3 for, then we would have a balanced thing. Right now we have it skewed towards the 4. And so, and maybe that's where it's all going. So again, I'm confident that a handful of people will be able to provide the input to the subcommittee, who then has to do the hard work associated with what's going on.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
And you
Anybody
know it's
else?
hard to get people together. So the larger you get people, the larger you make it, trying to coordinate a meeting is like herding cats.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the August 6, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meetings. Do we have a motion? We have a motion from Lee. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Pete. There being no discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Lee, you made the motion. I didn't hear your voice. Okay, sorry about that. The motion, all opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. Brings us to item number 9. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion from Pete. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Maggie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0.